Thank you. Why do we honor this man today? Is it because he was a Hall of Famer? Or was it because he played 23 years here in Baltimore? Or was it because he had 16 Golden Gloves? Or is it because he was the MVP of the league and the World Series? Or all the other wonderful accomplishments that he did on the field? All those are well worthy, each by themselves. But for those of us who really got to know him, I believe we are here because of the gracious man that he was. If you ever had the opportunity to just say hi in passing, you were greeted with a smile that was big and his eyes were grateful, because he showed his gratefulness of just being recognized. He was more unassuming and down to earth than any superstar that I ever met. For all of us that had the pleasure of being a teammate with Brooks, we knew he was the ultimate gamer. He was a leader, but more importantly, he was a friend. I truly enjoyed our friendship, and I was always be grateful to have been able to watch Brooks and learn from Brooks. Even though I was the guy that was tagged to try and replace him at that position, which was a tremendous honor in itself, he always was there. When I asked him at one time, I said, "Why do you move your feet the way you do at third? It's different from others." And he then the next day showed me why it was important for him. It gave him more range at third, and I quickly learned to adapt and follow that. And to this day, I still talk to young baseball players. I teach that because I'm shocked that I don't see it more often, because his footwork was different, but it allowed him to get balls down the line. It allowed him to get balls in the hole, and it allowed him to be able to charge, to barehand a ball and throw them out. All those things were awesome as a young player to learn. When asked, what was the major accomplishment of my career? My answer was that I was chosen to attempt to fulfill Brooks's shoes. A very large and unreachable task. But I survived the criticisms, the comparisons, and played a long time for this great organization. I always remember and always felt that when a young player came up, that it was upon my duty to follow what Brooks did for me. And with that, I would always be grateful. I reminded every time that I sit at my desk at home. There's a picture behind me, and that picture shows Brooks, and behind him was Connie and Diana, and myself giving that third base to Brooks on Thanks Brooks Robinson Day. The thing I whispered to him, I said, "This bag will always be yours." And I handed it to him, knowing that it was impossible to replace somebody as great as he was. Another thing that I try to do is that I try to teach young players to be gracious against their opponents and to be gracious to all others and family members who support you to be out there playing the game of baseball. I thought Brooks was always over and above the most supportive guy. I can remember times when Earl Weaver and I didn't see eye to eye. And Brooks would always pull me aside and he goes, "Don't listen to that, you're doing a good job." But when you think of Brooks, think of the greatness he was as a player, but also the great qualities he had and what a gracious giver he was off the field. Brooks Robinson is and was and will always be a true champion. Thank you.